Hey, coming for you. Guys, be nice. He's a guest.
Be nice in the comments, please.
Be nice. He's a guest. Just now he's like, I never want to go back there. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, how's it? What kind? So in today's video, I have a special guest joining me. I'm actually so excited to have him on my channel. But before we get into it, I just want to give a shout out to two people. These two people on the screen, they were the first two people to comment in the previous video. So thank you so much. Now, in today's video, we have a special guest, as I mentioned earlier. I'm so excited to have him. I love his channel. Literally, I love watching his channel. And so, introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Jarryd. I am 28 years old now. I started au pairing when I was 25. And I was an au pair in Austin, Texas for 2 years for a single mother and twin boys. And they were 7 years old at the time. And yeah, I make YouTube videos and my channel is the Bropair. The premise behind
so they can see a little sign. Like well, you don't have to move it permanently, but guys,
that's my logo.
Did you draw it yourself?
Yeah, this is like chalk paint. And it's just like a chalkboard and then with a chalk.
Okay.
So the whole premise behind my channel was back when I was starting out au pairing, there wasn't really the information out there which I wanted. There wasn't enough information out there. And so I decided that I'm going to create this channel. Firstly, I'm going on this amazing adventure. I'm going to America and I've always wanted to go to America. So I'm going to use this channel to show my friends and family back home everything that I'm getting up to in America. But also I want to make videos for other au pairs, other prospective au pairs, to give them all the information which I wish I had when I was going through the whole process. And another part of me starting my channel is that I wanted to bring more awareness to males being au pairs and change society's perceptions on male au pairs.
I know you started your channel because you wanted to show everyone back home, but like, what made you just decide, okay, I'm going to America to au pair out of everything?
So, like I said, it was ever since I was a kid, I watched a lot of American TV shows and movies, and I always wished that I'd grown up in America. Really? And although I'm from South Africa,
He's not throwing shade. Just being honest, don't come and attack the
I love South Africa. It'll always be my home.
Yeah, no, I get it. They're gonna be like, oh, he wanna go. No. Hey, coming for you. Guys, be nice. He's a guest.
Be nice in the comments, please.
Be nice. He's a guest. Just now he's like, I never want to go back there.
Where was I? Lost my train of thought now.
No, you said you wish you grew up in South Africa.
Yes. So, yes. I love South Africa, but ever since I can remember, I'd always wished that I'd grown up in America. And so I got my degree in IT and I didn't want to go into the corporate world. I couldn't see myself being in an office, the whole 9 to 5, the usual thing. Like, that's just not me. And so I was wondering, what can I do? And then I got the idea. So my cousin actually was an au pair and he's also a male and he did it a few years prior to me. So I got the idea from him and he was an au pair in New York. He's actually living in New York now and he married an American woman and they got 2 kids. So I'm very, very happy for him. But once that idea came to me, I was like, okay, well, I've always been surrounded by kids. I'm pretty good with kids. And now there's this opportunity to do this, but also do it in America. So why not give it a shot? And that's kind of what led me to going and being an au pair in America. And then also I knew that I needed to get away just from my family so that I could just broaden my horizons and kind of just become more independent and see what Jarryd is all about and what else life has to offer. So that's kind of pretty much what led me to becoming an au pair in America.
So I know the process, but once again, I'm a female. So
can
you walk us through the process for you? Because I don't know if there's something different. I get asked this question and I don't know how to say, because you know, like how from when you contact the agency and the paperwork and the visa, I know all that. But for you, is there anything different, or what's the process for you? Maybe I'd be able to say, oh, that was different.
To my knowledge, I believe the process is pretty much exactly the same, except that some agencies, I don't know if it's still the case now, but back when I was doing it, back when I was applying, there are some agencies who just don't accept males whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so I went with a partner agency here in South Africa called OBC. And they're basically a partner agency to Aupair International, which was my agency, and then Aupair Care. At the time, I couldn't go with Aupair Care because they never took males. This is what I was told. And so I had to go with Aupair International. And so the process is, I believe it to be pretty much exactly the same, except that with the requirements for childcare hours, if you're female, it's 200, and if you're male, it's 500. So what? Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Society just dictates it that way.
They think you guys need more time looking up. Why? Are you limited in a way with choosing kids? You know, like on the form you can say if you want to look after babies or not, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Are you limited with that too?
So it's, I think it's just because it's predominantly a female thing to do, or it has been. And so now with guys wanting to do it, society has put males in this light where they can't be nurturing, caring, and affectionate.
Okay.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. And then that's also why with my channel, I'm trying to change society's perceptions on that, because I think it's just absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm almost certain it's the same with every agency where you have to have at least like double the required hours that a female needs to have. But you can still become infant qualified. I'm infant qualified. Before I went over, I worked, or not worked, but I volunteered at a children's home to get infant qualified. So I was there for, I believe it was 6 months, and I was like there every day. So then I got my hours to become infant certified. But the process is pretty much exactly the same. So like you find your agency, you apply to them, see if you meet all the requirements, and then from there you got to fill in all the paperwork and get your criminal clearance and pay application fees, program fees, and so on and so forth, and then matching with the family. Once you've matched, then you go for your visa interview. Once you've got your visa, then they kind of schedule your flights, and then you kind of going to America. So I would say it's pretty much the same. Yeah,
it's not the same besides the 500 hours.
Yeah.
But I almost actually went to the OVC, you know that? And then
really?
I was like so close. There was one near my house. When I say near my house, like 25 minutes. But I went to the Aupair in America because I knew somebody else who had been with them, and they were like super happy with Aupair in America. So I was like, you know what? Whereas with OVC, I hadn't known anyone. And so I was like, I'd rather go with someone that I, know. And my mom was like, you're going to get trafficked. So I had to like fight against all that. So I went with Aupair in America. But another question I have for you is, when you are matching with families, because like this, as you said, there's a stigma that men can't be nurturing and that whole thing. Did you come across any, how was that process for you? Because your process is going to be different to mine, because I don't think they're going to have a problem. Like, I won't have families questioning that. Whereas with you, did you have any families or dads questioning that?
So once my profile went live on the websites and so on, it took about 4 months to get my first interview request from a family.
What?
That's also another thing that males have to deal with, is that there will always be a lot more families wanting a female au pair. That's just the case, but that's just because of the whole stigma and everything. But then there will be some families who are now more open to having a guy as their au pair, because sometimes it does make sense, but I will get into that. And so 4 months until my first interview request, and I think I think it was 11 months before I found the family that I matched with.
11 months.
Yeah.
What were you doing? I would have given up. I would have been like, deuces.
Funny story. So in between that 4 months and the 11th month period, I think I spoke to about 8 different families. And so, but also the thing to remember is that with certain agencies, the number of families in their pool differs. So Aupair International, my agency, is a lot smaller than, say, Cultural Care, who has a lot more families. So that's also plays a role in it.
Problem, yeah.
But yeah, so I spoke to about 8 different families. And then when it came to December of 2017, so I started the process in February 2017. Then December 2017, that's when I was like, spoken to 8 families. This isn't seeming like it's going to work. I keep saying no to them. I always find something wrong. But I mean, it was always because I was going with my gut. And even my agency said to me, listen, Jarryd, for a guy, you've had a lot of families and you just keep saying no to them. Like, are you serious about this program? And I was like, yes, I am. But I'm going to be spending a whole year with these people. I'm not just going to choose some random because
the tree.
Then the likelihood of you going into rematch is a bigger issue. And also, if you're with a smaller agency, the likelihood of you then rematching with another family is a lot lower because there's less families in the pool.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what, I'm trying. I speak to every interview request that I get. I speak to these families, and there's just something in my gut saying, this isn't going to work out. There's something on their profile or just speaking to them. And I was just like, I just know that we aren't going to really get along, or like there will be problems down the line.
Yeah.
And so in December, I was like, okay, when January comes, 2018, I'm just going to tell the agency, listen, I guess this isn't for me. I'm just going to give up. The first week of January, I get an interview request. And it's a single mother with twin boys. Mm-hmm. So this piqued my interest because my brother and I were raised by a single mother.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll be able to relate to these boys. Yeah. And now also with being a guy, I've also heard of stories where the male au pair and the dad, the host dad, they kind of clash. So I'll get into another story now. But so the first week of January, I got the interview request from the family. We spoke, and then the mom sent me an email. I think it was like a day later asking to match, like she wanted to match with me.
Oh wow, that was fun.
So like within a week, I was matched, and so I just felt like this is just absolutely perfect. The universe has its timing and everything, and I believe that this is the perfect family for me. And they ended up being, because I extended with them, so I was there with them for 2 years. Yeah. So it was the absolute best match I could have had, I think, personally for me. But now going on a story that I had heard, there was a male au pair, and then like your normal household, mom, dad, kids. There was a moment where the host dad was telling the kids something, and they said, no, I'll only listen to so-and-so, and so-and-so being the guy. The so like now there was an issue because now the kids are not listening to the dad, they're listening to the au pair. So I think there are a lot more issues like that when it comes to males, and that's why I say that if you're a male, it is the likelihood of you looking after boys is a lot higher than you looking after girls. But also you should try and find a family where it's a single mother, and because then there's just always going to be, I think, that tension between the male au pair and the dad. So I think it is a bit easier if you are a male and you go and work for a single mother. Yeah.
Okay. Because the guy, I forgot his name. I actually saw his text the other day. He had messaged me 3 weeks into it. But did you guys go for orientation? At orientation, hey?
Yeah, so my agency, so normally you go to New York, right? And you do the week there or whatever. My agency never did it that way. So what we did is that we had a whole online thing that you had to complete. It's basically the thing in America or the thing in New York, but you have to do it online before you get on your flights to go there. So we just had a whole online
thing. To the airport, you met your host family?
Literally, I flew from Johannesburg, I went to New York to Texas, and then the current au pair at that time, he picked me up from the airport.
Nah, I'm not about that life. Orientation is the best part. It's like one.
Yeah, it is one thing that I wish I did.
Orientation is the part where you get, because you also get to meet au pairs from your area, even though here it's like it was pointless. But like, so I'm a returning au pair. Like the first time I came, it helped so much. And orientation, you all nervous, you know, all of you are nervous together, but you have like 4 days, you know, in New York City to get all the nerves out. You with other au pairs, you finally, you know, feel that, oh, I think I would cry coming from South Africa straight to the airport to my host family.
It's something that I wish I did.
Yeah.
I don't know why my agency did it that way, but I do wish that I had gone to like the school and like did the whole orientation and whatever, because they would have been cool to meet other au pairs.
Yeah, it would have been fun. But yeah, so I met him there. He was like, but I remember the first time there was no guy. The second time, I was like, why is there a guy here? And then we started talking because he was from New Zealand, and he was from New Zealand. And there's this thing with rugby and the people from New Zealand and South Africa. And so when he came, I don't know what he said, and there was like a bunch of South Africans, and we all were like, literally, there's me, Shivani, and there's a few other girls from different parts of South Africa. Literally, there's like literally a rainbow nation. It was like a whole row, 6 or 7 of us. And we were like, he said something about rugby and like how good they are, whatever. And literally, our row had to make it known. We had to be like, just by the way, you know. Anyway, long story short, we became friends with him by the end of it. Like, because he was like the only one. We became friends with him, and he was like stunning. And then we got here. I got here, and he was in like DC, and we got here, and he would text all the time. He would like send pictures to us, like the girls, because we created a group, like the South Africans and the one New Zealand. And he was saying, because he had girls, he had like what, 3 or 4 girls he was going to. And he was like, he loves it. He's like so excited. This may be a sensitive topic, but I just want to ask you if there's like a stigma that all guys, which I actually got into like a heated conversation with somebody the other day, because I was saying, by you saying a guy can't be an au pair is like you saying a female can't be a doctor. Like that's how I generally feel. I feel like you can't say I can only be a pair and a guy can't. So I want to know, like, did you ever get like stuff like that happen to you? Or did you ever get guys say, which I think there's nothing wrong with, like, oh, you like guys, or you feminine, or, you know, like stuff like that. Have you ever like had to deal with it, or had to explain yourself as in like, listen, because I like this kind of job, it doesn't mean, or like if I say I want to be a doctor, it doesn't mean I want to be a man. I just, you know.
Yeah. No, I do get that. And I mean, I would say it is kind of like the same, like your example there, like because it's back in the day, being a doctor is predominantly it's a male would be your doctor, but now times have changed and everything. And so back in the day, it was always nannies and au pairs were always females. And then at some point there was the first guy who was a nanny or au pair. I would love to meet the official
the person who broke the rule.
Man au pairs.
Yeah, like the person
that would be pretty cool.
You should actually Google that. I'm sure you could find out. Like, I think that would be great. I think you should Google that and like reach out to the person, because I would love, like, I know personally, I love the people who break the rules. I'm all for the people who go against the tradition.
Yeah.
Not like obviously like law breakers, but I mean like people who are like, you can
just going against like societal norms and
you should. That's a video for you, by the way.
Yeah.
Carry on.
But that person's probably like really, really old now.
Yeah, probably like 80.
But anyways, before I left, I would tell like my friends, family, and like other people, oh, I'm going to go and be an au pair now. And then a lot of the times they're like, what's an au pair? And you'd be like, okay, I'm going to be a male nanny. and I'm going to look after the kids. So a lot of people, like, they would sometimes be raised eyebrows. It's like, why are you going to do that? And like, that's weird or whatever. Or like people would assume that maybe you swing for a certain team.
Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, because honestly speaking, I watched a few of your videos and I didn't get that vibe, but I'm not gonna lie, all the other Bropair that I've met are. So it's like, and so I genuinely don't believe that you have to be like that to be on a Bropair. I 101% don't agree. But when all you've seen, and then when I saw you, I was like, and then I think there's another Aupair from Paris or something, like a Bropair or something. And I was like, this, like, now it's like proof. Now I'm like, oh, but here's so and so, like, you know, like now I have evidence. But yeah, carry on with your story.
No, so I mean, I have, through my time in America, I've made quite a few like male Aupair friends. Some of them were straight, some of them were gay, and I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think that stigma, like I think it still holds, but until people start seeing more males, whether they're straight or they're not, they need to become more familiar with it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will take time, but I mean, I think that stigma still holds till this day, just not as strong as what it used to be. But other than that, I never really, I don't recall ever having any like bad interactions where people were like, oh, you're a male, like you can't look after kids, so on and so forth. Because also in one of my very early videos, where I spoke about what is it like to be a male Aupair, I say that just because I'm a guy, why can't I be nurturing, caring, and affectionate?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was raised predominantly by a woman, so I am a lot more, I'm not all like macho and whatever.
The whole time.
So I do have a sensitive side and so on and so forth. But I do think that also like helped me with the kids by like being good with kids, because I've also been around, I've got like 8 younger cousins just on my mom's side. So I've like always been surrounded by kids, and I've always been like the oldest. But there was not, it wasn't necessarily like people thinking that I might be gay or whatever, but there was one time I was at a bar, and I think this is more of this person's looking maybe down on me because I was a nanny, so to speak. So I think it was more so because of my occupation. So like I was at a bar with my friends, and then there was a bunch of girls, and then they approached us, and like we were all talking, whatever. And then I was speaking to this one girl who like I thought was like really, really pretty. So we're speaking for a bit, and then she asked, what do I do? So I was like, I'm an Aupair. And she's like, well, what's that? So I was like, I'm a male nanny. The moment I said male nanny, she literally turned around and walked away from me.
So rude.
And I was just like,
but that I would say, like, I think personally, first of all, that girl was rude. But yeah, like your title is so important, because I get that with guys. If you're not that type of guy that, like, there's some guys that play on that because they want to feel like you need them, and like I've had guys struggle with the fact that I don't ask for money, you know. But then at the same time, there are guys that are like, you a nanny, you know. It's like I don't want to associate with a nanny, kinda, you know. So I'll get that, but at the same time, she was so rude. She was it was very. It took me by surprise. Like I did not ever like think that was going to be like an issue, but it just shows how that person is. Yeah, it just shows.
So
like
it would have never worked out between us in any case.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to somebody who's like a guy who wants to do it, but is still not sure? Like he's probably either in the same situation as you, like in a career, or wants to travel or come here, or maybe he just got out of school and he's like, yo, I'm not ready to go to college yet. What advice would you give to a guy who's like, I've never seen, maybe this is going to be his first time seeing a Bropair? What would you say to that guy?
I would say first and foremost, if you love kids, if you are good with kids, then being an au pair is one of the best gap years you can do. Firstly, I love the whole idea of a gap year. Like straight out of high school, I wish I did that, but I went straight into university. If you are wanting to do a gap year and you are good with kids and you love being around children, then I would say 100% go and do it. And yes, there will be people in your life, friends, family, peers from school, who, when you say you're going to be an au pair and look after kids, they are going to raise their eyebrows at you and they are going to look at you weird and be like, why are you going to do that? And you should go study and become a doctor or whatever, or get a real job. I mean, you can learn so much about yourself in this year or even 2 years by being an au pair that a lot of your peers won't even realize about themselves until maybe 5-10 years later on, or they would never even develop certain parts of themselves or find out certain parts of themselves because they never took a gap year. They just went straight into university or straight into a job. And so there are always going to be those people who look at you weird, but don't care what they think. If you want to do it, just do it. I can assure you that it was honestly the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. And hands down, I would do it again and again and again and again. Yeah. It was the best thing ever for me. And I do believe that if you truly want to do it, it could be the best thing for you. And I would just say, don't listen to the haters.
I feel like everyone needs something like this. Because literally, you get away. I've never, in my years of being au pairs, I've cried, I've laughed, I've celebrated, I've mourned, I've grieved, I've done everything. And every time I come out of a situation, I look back and I'm like, damn, I went through that and I'm still here. I feel like everyone needs to just, because you get away from, and the best thing for me was just getting away from all the known. I literally left everything I knew and came into a world where it's like a blank canvas, and you literally figure out who you are. And then also it shows you who's in your corner. Because I don't know if this has happened to you, but when you come or when you move away, it's like out of sight, out of mind. So you see who's genuinely there for you. You see who's still going to call you, even if they don't see you, who's going to still show up and keep you intentionally in their life. Whereas some people who have never, some people who have never done something like this, or, you stuck with these people when you're not even sure if hold up, are they really my friends, or are you waiting for a situation to happen? Whereas now, and I always laugh with my best friend, I say compared to when I was living in South Africa, now if I had to get married, my list would be this small. Whereas I was a person with tons of people, or now I'm literally I can count the people besides my family. I can count the actual friends that I still talk to. And my best friend can't believe it. She's like, how? I'm like, they just the real friends stayed and the ones who weren't real left. Which
it gives you perspective on your life.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very good thing.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it. Jarryd, thank you so much for agreeing to come on my channel. I'm so glad you're here.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
I literally learned so much. And as I said to you, I am big on changing the story. And the reason why I was I had a sense of urgency to invite you, because I was like, this is me. I was like, we'll at least have 5,000 subscribers and I feel like I have a bit of a name to invite you. I can be okay, now I can invite people on, because all the people I've had on my channel are friends. They can't say no, But when you invite other strangers or other YouTubers to collab with you, you're I don't have a bit of a name. Even when I emailed you and I was I added my link at the bottom, I was like, should I? He's gonna open it and see and be like, oh, this girl thinks. But then when you responded, I was like, okay, because I genuinely am passionate about the au pair process, number one. Number two, I'm very passionate about having guy au pairs too, because I generally feel it's so unfair that people just think it's a woman thing. It's something that really irritates me when people, And so that's why I was like, I trust what you put on your channel. I love your channel personally. So I was
Thank
like,
you.
I'm gonna have you, because I don't just want to have anyone on my channel, to be honest.
Yeah.
But where can the people find you? Share your information. If people want to come out to your channel,
so this, if you just search the Bropair, so this is YouTube, this is also Instagram. I also have a Facebook page. Just search the Bropair and you'll find me there. So it's like I love how much love you have for the whole program, because like that's how I feel. Like it was a year ago that I was an au pair, and I'm still very much involved in the whole au pair game, making videos and whatever. It's just, I wouldn't be doing that if I didn't have a full-on passion and like love for the whole program. And so
I'm just so tired, because I have a friend that was a culture care and she went into a rematch and her host family was trash, like same, but she ended up going home because she couldn't find the match, and cultural care did not give a damn. And then I've had a host family, same story with cultural care. For me, it's like I genuinely care about people. I genuinely care about spreading this and being like, yo, if other people can do it and have fun, great. But I also don't want you to be scammed. I was listening to, yesterday I was driving and I was listening to your video about the guy who almost got scammed and he had to pay, they wanted him to pay 800 and the whole thing. And as you're reading the whole agreement, I'm like driving and I'm listening to it and I'm like, scam. When you said there's 2 seals and if he's married, I was like, scam.
Yeah,
like you could.
It was so bad.
Yeah, I could have stopped there and be like, done. This is definitely a scam. Yeah. So I was like, yeah. So I'm like, So everyone can find you on the Bropair on all social media.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the Bropair.
Okay.
And you'll find me there.
That's where you guys can find him. He's not limited to just guys, but I thought it'd be great to have a guy answer all the guys' questions for once, because I'm always answering the girls' question. And yeah, go over to his channel, subscribe, say hi, ask him questions, come back, tell me if you guys watch these videos. But once again, thank you so much, Jarryd, for coming on my channel.
Thank you, Angel.
I enjoyed this. Guys, do not forget to like, comment, come ask me questions on Instagram, and yeah, bye.